Good afternoon, TikTok. Good afternoon, Instagram. And good afternoon, Facebook. Okay, this is the first time I've ever done this before. So I'm on all three of these platforms, and hopefully we won't hit a bump in the road or stop too fast. But you know what I want to talk about right now? I want to talk about hemorrhoids, okay, to colon cancer. Now, first of all, this is dedicated to Monica called me this morning, and guess what? She said, Dr. Wolf, could you please talk about colon cancer? I have a very dear friend who probably won't want to listen to you, won't want to do it the natural way, but I'm a friend of hers. Do you mind taking the time? And I said, listen, of course, there's no waste of time. You know what? Just because somebody doesn't want to buy into the natural way and they want to go the medical way, we're not going to judge them, are we? We're going to mind our own business. We're going to show them through example, not telling them how they should live. And I'll tell you something, it just doesn't work when you tell people how to live, does it? Okay? Usually flies right back in your face. Okay? So anyways, you can't see the view, but it's just totally beautiful here. We're going through what's called Peachland on our way to Penticton. I have my whole team there, and we have a major meeting going on. I'll get talking about the hemorrhoids to cancer in a second, but we're meeting there because we just got approval, okay, from the finance minister in Puerto Rico that our whole program of corporations and bringing our patients, our clients, our practitioners in and getting them corporations so they only pay 4% tax no matter where they live in the world has been approved. You can take that one to the bank, okay? I'm telling you that we have just been approved by the finance minister of Puerto Rico. Now, the educational minister just approved our BraveHeart Nation University, and he said there's only one last step, and he said it's not good enough that you just have Wolf International Training Institute. He said you need to get a corporation under BraveHeart Nation University, and then he said everything else that you've done meets our approval, so we will approve it. We're also meeting with the agricultural minister to get land so that we can teach permaculture, we can teach people how to grow their own food, and also teach them about electroculture, which is learning how to change the whole frequency of your gardening, your plants, everything, and actually block it that the chemtrail cannot fall on your property. This is true. The next thing we're doing is we're going to also be teaching people that bees, not one bee needs to die, that we actually have what's called pure wave, and it's a very powerful magnet. I'll be showing it. And when we put these magnets into a beehive, not one bee dies, they all get stronger, and you can take this to the bank too. It will actually double the colony size, and then we have to split the hives. So 5G my butt. It does not affect, because we've already done the studies with 5G all around the bees, not one bee dies, they get stronger, and the colony doubles. So we're going to be showing that as well. We have a lot planned, and we're going to be opening up the most beautiful healing clinic with things like Salsonic and Cardio Medbed, Wolf Non-Surgical, teaching people the perfect day, teaching them what real exercise is about. But mainly what we're going to be teaching is we're going to teach them how to retrain their brain. If you can retrain your brain, you can accomplish or have anything in your life. Let's get to hemorrhoids to bowel cancer and understand something, everyone. What is the fastest growing cancer on this planet right now is bowel cancer. Did you know that you can reach 60% of all the cancer with your finger? If you put your finger up your rectum, you will be able to reach 60% of the cancer, the bowel cancers that people are getting. That's right. Did you get that? Now, on an emotional level, this is because that person cannot let go. Okay? When you can't let go, okay, then you are going to stagnate. When you stagnate, you are going to putrefy. When you're going to putrefy, you're going to be very toxic in that area. And what's going to happen is you're going to cut down the oxygen. And we'll get to that in a second. But just know this, okay? How about this? 90% of the population, at least, okay, is spoiled rotten. Spoiled rotten emotionally. So now they're spoiled rotten physically, but they don't know it because we follow the herd, we follow the majority. Now, tell me that 90% of the population are blowing up. Women look like they're pregnant that aren't. Men look like they're pregnant, but they're not. Maybe that's where they get men can get pregnant now thing. Who knows, right? But the reality is this, is that either people's core, which is their large intestine, is falling down and out. You could actually grab it. It looks like a spare tire, right? Right? Or it's coming, sticking straight out their abdomen, like as if somebody pumped them up with air because somebody did. What happened is that most people aren't eating real food. And most people don't know how to food combine. Most people aren't drinking enough water, and definitely not structured water. Most people aren't eating a whole plant-based diet, which creates the fiber, okay, which goes in and the fiber ferments because fiber can't be digested, and then it goes into your large intestine, and your large intestine is actually the garden of immunity. It's the garden of life. And if you don't know how to cultivate that garden, then you're going to be in big trouble, okay? So here's the reality. So your large intestine holds 85% of your immune system. Now, did anybody ever notice that the medical system doesn't give a real crap about it? And I mean, they don't give a crap, okay? They're pretty constipated up here when it comes to the large intestine being 85% of your immune system. I hope you're getting this. And when a person can walk in, and it could be a male, they could look like they're 3 to 6 months pregnant. And what is the doctor going to say? You need to lose weight. Well, no, they don't. They need to lose waste. That person is blowing up, or their large intestine is falling down and out of them because the large intestine is in a coma because it's so toxic, or they're blowing up because they're so full of gas because they have their own personal manure pile. How many times have you sat on the toilet and you said, oh boy, I know there's a little bit more that could come out. Now let's take that over the years and you've got a manure pile. Now, whether you want to believe this or not, but your inner terrain decides what lives there. So people say, you know what? Cancer is caused because of parasites. And I say that's not true. I say that you could have a cancer parasite because the cancer parasite is actually eating up it's eating contaminated tissue. People say that cancer is caused because of bad bacteria. That's not true. It's the vibration of the environment becomes so low. Everything is vibrational. Understand that. Everything is frequency. You can turn cancer on and you can turn cancer off by a frequency. Now, they have turned cancers off by a frequency in labs. And I'm going to tell you, you may not believe this, but you can turn off stage 4 inflammation, which they call cancer, with a cell sonic. And this is not me trying to pitch a cell sonic, but a cell sonic is 25,000 volts put into a field. And that can go in, change the whole frequency inside the cell, decalcify the mitochondria, and then now the mitochondria, instead of only spinning 300 times per second, can now spin 2,500 times per second. When they do that, the mitochondria, you can't hear it, but there's actually a sound being made, and it's the same sound as a little hurricane. Between the sound, okay, because guess what? What travels faster than the speed of light? Sound. I bet you didn't know that. There's real science for you. You can take that to the bank. And understand something. Sound heals. Now, sound heals. Just like when you breathe, okay, you don't know this, but you are twirling the air when it goes into your sinuses and it speeds up and it actually creates a very low vibrational noise. And that noise, believe it or not, is what we consider to be the oxygen part of H2O. Okay? Now, H2O2. Now, believe it or not, when you breathe in oxygen, the same amount of oxygen as in air, will come out in the way of carbon dioxide. Now, understand this. It's only the sound that's missing from the oxygen that causes it to go carbon dioxide. Everything is frequency. Now, why am I saying this about the sinuses? Well, because guess what? It doesn't matter where in the body that if your cells drop by 35% or more of oxygen for more than 3 days, I hope you're with me on this because this is real science, then guess what happens? Your cells have to mutate, and now they'll live off of sugars, and now they'll live off of what? Lactic acid that's created by all of that acidity that's in that environment anyways. Okay, now, you don't believe me? Well, then why did Dr. Otto Warburg, the only person in the world that ever received the Nobel Prize for discovering cancer, was Dr. Otto Warburg? Now, we know that the large intestine has 85% of the immune system, and that immune system is dependent on your bacteria. We know that the majority of the population, their bacteria is 90 to 95% bad bacteria and only 5 to 10% good, and it's supposed to be 15% bad to 85% good. Why do you think you're blowing up? Why do you think you have so much gas, okay? So much gas. And why do you think it smells so bad? Because you're rotting inside. And understand, when you're talking about any place in the body that has cancer, you're talking about tissue that's rotting. The vibration has come down, the sound, because the mitochondria, which is the powerhouse of every cell that's in every cell, is being calcified. Because small ions of calcium are being sent into the cells to try to buffer down the internal environment of the cells to keep it alkaline. I'm right about this. Now, go do your homework. So now the calcium comes in and it creates what we would call a shell around the mitochondria, just like there could be rust in a hinge and it's not going to open properly. Well, the mitochondria are not going to spin 2,500 times per second. They're only going to spin 300 to 500 times per second. When you do a product called calcium ion therapy, if you go to my library, you can read in there the guide. There's part one and part two of cancer, but we also talk about it for Alzheimer's. We talk about it for children that are not growing properly. We also talk about it for dental problems, jaw problems, joint problems. Okay, understand there you have calcium ions do 120,000 different chemical and hormonal operations in the body. So when you put somebody on a calcium ion therapy and then you use things like Cellsonic to crack the shell from around the mitochondria and it spins 2,500 times again, do you know what your mitochondria does? It creates the energy. And that energy is called ATP. And then when it gets enough ATP, do you know what it does? When it has enough ATP for itself, what does it do? It takes the excess ATP and it pushes it through the potassium sodium channel of the cell into the exterior of the cell. And guess what? That creates a lightning bolt, which creates a brand new cell. So people that don't have energy are people that have cancer, because cancer is stage 4 inflammation, and inflammation eats up oxygen. Yes or no? Okay, so understand, every illness, okay, has two major parts to it. Inflammation, every illness, whether, I don't care where it is in your body, inflammation and mucus production, excess mucus production. What do you think COPD is? Okay, that's your lungs filling up with mucus because of the inflammation in the alveoli. Okay, and whenever there's too much inflammation, your body will make so much mucus to try to protect the actual cells, the cell layer. Okay, so that's what it is. It's too much mucus in the body, not enough oxygen. So the inflammation causes irritation, eats up the oxygen, but it also creates scar tissue. So anywhere in the body, whether it's your bowel or whether it's your lungs, you're going to get too much scar tissue. But all of this can be reversed, and I can prove it. You think that you need to go to surgery? Well, guess what? I'm going to tell you right now, I can't say for sure, it's not like I did a study, but I've been at this for 40 years. I'm going to tell you that at least 95% of all surgeries do not have to be done.
But you've been programmed to go and do it, and your family's just going to go do it anyways. Why would they leave a nut taste like me? So, colon cancer is what happens. We just told you you suffocated the cell because you created your own manure pile down there. And you say, well, I go to the washroom every day. Well, guess what? At this very moment, I have 9 colon cancer patients that we are teaching how to detoxify and how to restore their body. Now, most of those patients are having 2 to 3 bowel movements a day. So what would you say to that? Oh, you'd say what? Well, what? What would you say? Well, that's when they went to the doctor said, oh, you're doing great. Or the doctor would say, hey, if you go once every second day, that's good for you. Maybe that's for you. Maybe if you go once every 5 days. But the reality is it's not what comes out, it's what stays in. Let me tell you something right now. Why do you think you're blowing up with gas? Why do you think you feel pressure on your lungs? Why do you feel like you have pressure on your heart? Okay? Why do you think you have low back pain? Let me tell you something. 95%, and I mean 95% of all low back surgeries are caused because you brought it out. That's right. You brought it out. Go take a look where your transverse colon is. And most people, it drops down. It comes across just underneath the ribs. Most people, it drops down 3 or 4 inches. When that colon falls down, remember something. It's lacking tone. And guess what? What do you think leaky gut is? Do you have a clue what leaky gut is? Well, leaky gut is leaky large intestine. It's not leaky gut. My gut's not leaking. It's my large intestine that's leaking. So what do you think happens? Well, you are pooping in your pelvis, sweetheart. And the reality is you're getting that fecal matter because that's what leaky gut is, right? Leaky gut is where the large intestine has pinholes in it. And those pinholes are being caused because of everybody that's eating animal products that doesn't know that they're 80% of the antibiotics that are made in North America go into animal products. So you're getting your daily dose of antibiotics on a continual level, and all you have to do is do 1 round of antibiotics, and it's going to go in there, and it's going to annihilate the good bacteria. It's going to annihilate the bad bacteria too, but that's not cool. Just to set a whole bomb off and just destroy everything around the area. But hey, if you've got a life-threatening situation, and your life is really being threatened, and you know it's on the line, antibiotics might be your only choice. But to go to the doctor when you've got a cold or a flu or an earache and you get your antibiotics, are you like, how do you scold? Seriously? You know antibiotics are a form of chemo? Are you getting this? Okay, so let's go to war with ourselves. Let's kill this. Let's kill that. Let's kill them. Oh my God, let's kill them. That's what we're killers. Well, guys, we need to just chill out here. Love's the answer. Let me just say that much. Unconditional love for ourselves, and then try to see if you can do it for others, would you? But here's the reality, okay? When you took those antibiotics, the worst problem about that is you took the yeast that's inside your large intestine and turned it into what? A drill bit predator called fungus.
Called candidiasis. Do your homework, please. That's all. And then challenge me before you tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. So now this candidiasis becomes drill bit predator, and now guess what it's doing? Well, it's drilling holes in your large intestine. So now you got leaky gut. Leaky gut is leaky large intestine. You're pooping into your abdomen, and your abdomen is supposed to make and store 85% of your energy. How's that going for you? Not so good, right? Okay. So, don't get wrong. And I'm not trying to be a smarty, but I'll be 67 years old. And you know what? I go from usually about 5:30 in the morning, right, honey? Yeah. And then, today we're going to be shooting video and having meetings about Puerto Rico until 8 o'clock tonight. And then I got to go back and do it tomorrow and then give a lecture tomorrow night in Kelowna. So, and then the next morning, catch a plane to go to Calgary to do an intensive training with some health professionals. So understand, guys, okay? Energy is here, and it's in your mitochondria. So do you know how to really look after yourself? And understand this. Your mouth to your rectum is the most important highway you'll take. A lot more important than the highway we're doing today. And guess what? For most of you, it's a bumpy ride all the way through because you don't look after it. And remember, that's 33 feet. So the reality is do you know how to food combine? Do you know what whole plant-based foods do? Do you know that you should chew your food until your solids become liquids, and then you should chew your liquids to make sure enzymes are wrapped around in them. Let me tell you, you could eat 1/3 or 25% of the food and get 300% more nutrition into your body if you knew the science of eating and living and caring and loving. And that's the God's truth. So you could say, oh my God, this guy's really intense. Well, I'm trying to crack the coconut of every human being on this planet. Okay, all right. Have you ever been passionate about something? Well, that's what I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about making a difference. Are you? Do you? Have you found your gift? Have you found your passion? Are you sharing it with the rest of the world? Do you walk around with a slight smile on your face so that you can leave smiles wherever you go? Are you making people happy, or are you a Donnie Downer? Are you? Is that what you are? Okay, because let me tell you something. Okay, if you're depressed, that's because your prominent dominant beliefs are depressive. If you've got cancer, then you've got your prominent dominant beliefs are corruption, conflict. Okay, all right. You better get that, because that's the truth. Let me tell you something. Cancer's based on two main emotions, anger and hate. And I don't say you go around hating the world, but you go around hating yourself or hating your life, or hating the way the world is going. You can't do that. So, did you ever notice something? Somebody will get cancer, they'll get rid of it with massive personal action, and the whole family rah rah. Okay, and then guess what? It comes back. Because what sets it off? What activates it? Fear, anxiety, stress, recreating the trauma drama that caused it in the first place will cause it in the second place, which will cause it in the third place, and good luck making it to the fourth place. You'll be lucky if you make it to the third base. So if you don't want to change your personality, you're not going to change your reality. If you don't want to do something really different in your life, then you're not going to have different. If you have cancer and you let your family know, they're going to crap a brick. They're going to have so much fear and anxiety for you, they're going to push you over the cliff. And also remember something. When do people really know what health is? Do they know how to look after the front door all the way down to the back door? Do they know that everything is based on light, sound, and frequency? That's what our whole life is based on. And you talk to anybody on the street and they'd think I was crazy. What are you talking about? Light, frequency, sound. I already told you, sound will heal faster than light. So, who do you hang around with? What do you say to yourself? How do you talk to yourself? How do you allow others to talk to you? Who do you hang around with that talk up and they bring you up, they lift you up? What do you listen to on the radio? What do you listen to on TV? But mainly, how's that mental chatter going? Are you your best cheerleader? Are you telling yourself you're a genius? Are you telling yourself that you can be abundant on all levels? Let me tell you something. If you're poor right now, poor in health, then guess what? You've got sick thoughts that are running your life. If you are poor financially, you've got poverty thinking. That's right. Believe it or not believe it. You don't understand, Dr. Wolf. You don't understand my situation. Da, 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 da. Are you tired of telling that story? Why don't you tell a story, okay? A different story. And guess what? It doesn't have to be true right now, but I swear that if you embrace that story, you embrace it with all your heart. You breathe into that story. You smile about that story, and you don't get anxiety, and you don't say, I don't deserve it because I'm a sinner or a failure, or believe that you don't have the power or the genius to do it. If you can get rid of that, you can have whatever you want. So somebody says to me, Dr. Wolf, I've got stage 4 cancer, and the doctor said that I've only got 6 months to live. And I go, well, guess what? He's absolutely right. If you Oh, here we go. It's back. Okay. So, what did I say? I said that your personality creates your reality. And you better get this. And then you're going to go, "Well, this is my personality." No, it's not. If you're poor on any level, that's not your personality. You've got some dysfunctional belief that you've been running for so long you think it's part of you, and you definitely think it's part of you because the rest of your family has it. Just like there is no such thing as genetic diseases. They're all epigenetic, but believe whatever you want. And the reality is I'm open to have any scientist, researcher, doctor come on my show and challenge me on that. Okay? Let me tell you something. Do you want to fit in? I don't want to fit in. Do you want to fit into the majority of beliefs out here and the majority of what people think, the way they drink, the way they eat, the way they treat themselves? I don't think so. And I'm not going to do it, and I'm not going to shut up either. So, is this true, Lori? The other day I got called by a CBC reporter.
Yes.
Yeah, and a CBC reporter is trying. CBC Marketplace is trying to destroy my life. They're trying to tell people that, watch out for Dr. Wolf. He's going to kill you. He's going to steal your money. That's what he is. And the reality is this: I got done talking to her, and I only talked to her for about a minute and a half. Right?
Mm-hmm.
She was dumbfounded. She didn't even know what to say to me. It would be really good to see what they do with this little blurb. And she says to me, well, guess what? You do know that we're not done with you yet. And we're going to do a podcast and we're going to rerun the show. And I said, do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. The reality is that, then there's another lady this morning that told one of my staff, yeah, your daily cleansing tea, it's not working that good, but I don't want it because guess what? Dr. Wolf should be in jail. Well, let me tell you something right now. If I should be in jail, I should be in jail. But why aren't I in jail? Because they're full of BS. So you can believe whatever you want, but just remember something: you're BSing yourself probably, and it's not you. Okay? The world's going to BS you. You're going to tell me that things have been truthful lately. Let me tell you something. The truth is a hard pill to swallow. And guess what? Right now I'm doing this video. So if everything was true about me, where are they? They should be coming and putting handcuffs on me if I killed 3 people. You need to understand something, everybody. Okay? I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to hold the line. I'm going to be coming on every day. We're going to be doing shows. You do know that we've built the biggest free self-care, self-library in the world. Okay? You do know that we are going to keep on coming. We're building an app, and that's what I have a meeting about. My app is going to be called BraveHeart, and that app is going to be 95% free. And it's going to be bringing people on all around the world that can speak their truth without being shut down because I have my own Facebook platform. All right? So that's where all my money's going. Okay? I don't want to be known as a hero. I don't want you to look up to me. I don't want you to look down on me either. But I want you to understand something. You can call me. You can call me on my phone, 469-861-9454. Hey, Lori?
Yes.
I'm actually all caught up with my phone calls.
Yep.
So there you go. And I give my number out. You need to understand something. We always say, what's he up to? What's he really want? What's he after? At the end of the day, you're going to find out I'm after one thing. I'm after you falling in love and caring for yourself. Because if you do that, you have done more for this planet than anybody else can do. When you learn how to love and care for yourself, you will not get sick. I don't get colds. I don't get flus. I don't get put into bed because of them. I'm never going to have a disease. And guess what? You can go, yeah, I'll show you, Dr. Wolf. You better knock on wood on that. I don't have to knock on wood. There are rules of nature and there are universal laws, and understand, we follow them. I do not follow the rules of fools or any man. Okay? No rules, no bylaws. I don't follow them. Just like somebody said to me, I thought you were in healthcare. What are you doing trying to figure out this whole financial thing? Well, guess what? Do you know what I hear every day? Dr. Wolf, I just want to feed my family. I want to send my wife to your course. We want to come to your course. We want a personal treatment and training. We want to be able to afford all the best nutraceuticals for our family. So we're going to do everything we can to help you keep your money. And understand something. The same platform in Puerto Rico that we have built, that was approved by the Justice Minister of Puerto Rico, that was this morning, everyone. Okay? That platform will cost somebody $7,500 US, and they will only pay 4% tax for the rest of their life. And there's nothing illegal about it again. But then guess what? Dr. Wolf, they're going to come for you. They're not going to come for me. They're going to try to rattle my cage. They're going to try to shake me up. Okay? They're going to try to get me so stressed out that I can't focus on building. I'm going to tell you something. No matter where the world goes, economic depression, mental depression, Whatever the case, you know what? We built our business, and it wasn't built off of sickness or COVID, but we built our business by 300% in the last 3 years, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
And that's because we built it from our hearts. So I need everyone to understand it. You don't have to like me, you don't have to believe me, but guess what? Give me another 12 months and we will rock this world, and we want to rock your world, and we want you to rock your world, and then rock your family's world, and then we want you to stand up, because none of this has to happen. There is no climate change. There is no shortage of food. There is no shortage of water. Please, guys, you know what? We could have 100 million people living on this planet, and there's still so much room and so much food and so much water and so much air. And all you got to do is learn self-care. That's it. That's the first thing. If you could learn to love, honor, and respect yourself, what would that do for your children, your family, your wife, your husband, and everybody else? What if you didn't react and attack anymore, and you allowed people to lose their shit, but you didn't? I want you to think about that. But you do want to lose that other stuff, right? You want to let it go. And I already told you, 60% of all colon cancers, okay, you can reach them with your finger. It is because you couldn't let go on an emotional level. And remember something, everything emotional becomes physical. I mean, when's the last time you got really upset and you went and made a salad? Well, you wouldn't do that because you could chop your fingers off. The reality is that you need to learn how to love, honor, and respect yourself. And let's see. Let me just see. I want you to see this. I want you to see. Let's see if you can get until Friday, the end of Friday, and not one person has caused you to have a negative vibration about yourself, make you angry, make you sad, make you depressed, make you scared. Let's see if you can make it till Friday. Let me see. All right? Be the BraveHeart you've been looking for. Be the doctor you've been looking for. Be the hero that you've been looking for. There's a genius inside of you. Now tap into it, okay? And let's see how much you can love yourself today. Just for the fun of it. 3, 2, 1. We got this together.